things that you used to be really mad or upset about just linger away.
They
You're
fall
not.
away.
Yeah, it
It's not
goes.
that they don't happen. You're just not upset about them like you were before.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the difference, right, Carol?
yes.
Instead of having this huge emotional reaction on either side, up or down, you're
Mm-mm.
a little more, oh, that was nice, or I didn't like that. You're not, oh, no.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with Neuvias. My name is Carol, and today we have the lovely Marge.
Hello.
And our lovely conversation today will be the art of spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we thought this would be a really good one, as we think all of our other ideas are really good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was like to say. So the art of spirituality, basically, we're talking about our inner life, our inner being. Having those relationships with a person, regarding just being in your reality and living in your reality. Yeah, so just basically we're finding a deeper knowing and a deeper of who you are. So,
Yeah. Who you
yeah.
are, inside and out.
Yes. Yeah, so and of course the art part comes in with your creativity, your sensitivity and stuff like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. This
Yeah,
should be fun.
me too. I would say, Marge, we could start off with our key elements in the art of spirituality, which refer to intention, which basically is, truth, knowledge, and stuff like that, or setting those intentions. One of them is practice, like when you're practicing your meditation, your prayers. That also falls into the art of spirituality as well. Journaling, rituals, however, um, doing candles, setting those intentions. Crystals, you can use crystals also. Just
Yeah, all the different ways that you can integrate that into
mm-hmm.
your existence. And that's not to say you have to say today we're switching. I'm going to start being spiritual and I'm going to jump into all these things and understand them. It's an evolution of your
Mm-hmm.
spirit and making that connection with your higher self,
Yes.
God.
Yes, and it starts with just loving yourself. Once you start loving yourself, your mentality and your mindset starts changing, and you want to start doing better for yourself. So when you're starting to practice that pattern in you, your spirituality will deepen more, and you'll start noticing a lot of shifts changing for you as well.
Yeah, everything changes. Every little change you make and you do it consistently just for a few days will make another shift in your system. So your practice will evolve as time goes by.
Yeah, it's all about doing that inner work. That inner work. I know some people don't think they need it, but just if you bring that self awareness in your manner, and you're also just doing some healing and stuff like that within yourself, plenty of doors will start to open for you.
Hmm.
When we're talking about spirituality, there's so much we could go on and talk about on and on it with spirituality, but that's just kind of basics, key elements that we're talking about. Relationships too much, connecting with your, like you said, God, getting grounded, you know, uh, bringing in self compassion, and of course, communities that
Yeah.
help you evolve to that art, or learning that art of spirituality
Hmm.
would be another one. So yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
As you process through your evolution, you'll find that you're kind of letting go of some of the rigid structures that you were programmed into as being part of a human being, in society. And you kind of let go of some of the more rigid stuff and some of the expectations, the timelines you put together for yourself when you realize that it's not your time, it's God's
mhm.
time.
Yeah.
And divine timing is real. Then you kind of let go of some of it and say, okay, I've set this up. I'm making movements towards it, being mindful about the decisions you make day to day. And it's not to say beat yourself up when it's like, oh, I shouldn't have made that decision. Nah, you made that decision for a reason. Just move
Hmm.
on with it, accept it, integrate that decision, and then learn from it and move on to the next step. And you'll get guided all along the way.
Yes, no, and you're gonna make mistakes. That's just, we're all human. You're gonna make those mistakes, and that's okay if you make those mistakes because that leads you into a whole different transformation of yourself, knowing yourself. Finding that resilience within you.
Yeah.
That self identity that you're trying to look for.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So other deeper meanings, Marge, would be being at peace within yourself. That would be another form of art or spirituality. Being one within yourself, and of course with the universe. My main one is like being in touch with Mother Nature. She's When I think of spirituality, I think being in touch with Mother Nature is a huge impact
Yes.
for us.
Huge.
Although we were talking earlier, Marge, she's been doing her own thing lately. She's
She's shaking up some stuff.
Yeah, I think they gotta quit messing with her because she's just been like, "Oh, I'll show you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
No kidding.
yeah, yeah. So Mother Nature is like hugging that tree, getting out with nature. That's all part of the art of spirituality. Just simple things like that that can
Yeah.
change. Yeah, the way you look at things.
And it's like I said before, it's like an evolution. So, like art takes time to evolve and grow and change. It changes through time, and we all change through time. Whether you're doing it spiritually and consciously, or if you're not, you're changing. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago, much less 20 years ago.
Mhm.
Not even physically.
Oh
So it all changes.
yeah. I think too as you get older and you start evolving, and the things that once mattered to you no longer matter to you, and you start honing on or doing that self reflection of who you used to be to who you are now.
Yeah.
When you start opening yourself up to spirituality, I think it helps you realize to let all those things that you used to be upset about, you're no longer upset about, and so you alleviate that from your life, and you become more at peace within yourself, and just accept the day to day as just go with the flow, just go
Yeah,
with
you
it.
start finding that beauty in the moment to moment existence here.
Yes, it's all
Being able
about.
to wake up in the morning and say, I woke up, yay, I get another day to give it another chance and see what happens today. I love doing that.
Oh yeah, it's about having that balance, Marge. That balance in between your
Yeah.
chaotic life. If you're starting off on a good note, and all of a sudden it just starts getting chaotic, and the good thing is you can bring yourself back into that balance again of like, okay,
Hmm.
you know what, that energy, I don't need it. Let me just find my happy
Find my
energy.
happy place.
Yeah, really find a happy place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say too, with spirituality too, you'd learn to be more patient and adaptable to things that do happen on the
Yeah.
day to day service as well. So,
Right. Well, and you recognize not necessarily everything that happens in front of you or as part of your day has anything to do with you, really.
yeah,
There's so many things that really have nothing to do with you. They're for the other person or somebody outside of that as a witness. You just don't know.
no,
And accept it as something that happened. Be more of like an observer in that, and it gives you a better balance, a better calmness around situations.
yes, I know, I agree with that, Marge. A calmness. Now, I will tell you, when you do look at the art of spirituality, there is a little bit of a downfall to it, or pitfall. So when I say that, I'm just referring to, don't use spirituality as avoiding your real issues or your real problems that you're having to deal with, because you don't it's like you don't want to be living in la la land, as they say all the time, because you've got to come back down to reality. And so be sure that you are balancing that reality with whatever the day to day is going on. So
Yeah, you're living
yeah.
in two different worlds, right? You're
Hmm.
living in a spiritual world and a physical world. The physical world has requirements. The physical world requires you to breathe,
Hmm.
probably to eat. Most people, not everybody, but most people have to eat. In the United States, we pay taxes. Now, there's certain, and you have most likely have a bill, maybe just for your cell phone, but you at
Hmm.
least have a bill. So those things are responsibilities for the 3D side of things. The spiritual side doesn't really have those kinds of restrictions. You can go wherever you want and trying to find that balance. So if your physical side isn't taken care of, I'm all hands today. I don't know what's going on with me, guys. But if your physical side isn't taken care of, your spiritual side will be struggling because this needs to be a little bit more calm for
Hmm.
this to grow.
Yes. Basically, yeah. So, but you're just taking those wise actions, Marge, so that your life becomes more meaningful,
Hmm.
loving, and free, but yet you're still being in that knowingness of, I still have stuff I need to do to get on with the basics of our day to day, the
Yeah.
everyday day to
Yeah,
day.
everyday stuff.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So,
Yeah. What's nice about it is the further you go along that path, your outer world starts to reflect your inner world. And it doesn't happen right away, but it starts happening very quickly. It makes a big difference.
yeah, that's true. What was I gonna say, Mark? Oh, so what? Some ways that you can help with the art of spirituality, if you're new to it, or if you already know what's going on with your art of spirituality, is a few mindsets or meditation truly helps you. It also, like, it brings you into another balance. Being in that presence in that moment.
Hmm.
Silence meditation is what I'm talking about. Like, not, even you can just do a 3-second meditation now, or a 5-minute meditation, whatever you need to kind of get you back into balance.
Yeah.
Practicing mindfulness is another one, that being aware of what's going on the day to day as well. Just, because every day is like a roller coaster. I'm sure everybody's days. It would be nice if it was like this, but it's always like this.
It'd be boring if it was like this.
Oh my god, yeah.
If it was
You're
the
like,
same every day, you knew you woke up knowing what was going to happen today.
yeah.
It'd be like that 51st Dates movie for the girl.
Oh yeah.
It was the same thing every single day. Is that the life you want to lead? No. That's like being stuck in a job where you lick envelopes all day.
Yeah.
No, thank
Robot
you.
style.
Hmm. And that's where this evolution comes through, right? The
Mhm.
evolution of humanity is going to make a difference because we're going to be able to use more of our creativity. And the creativity brings in the art and the beauty of the existence,
Yes.
not
And
just
I
grinding away.
now I know, and I really think everybody has some type of artistic pursuit in them. It
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily have to be like a. I'm an artist. I draw. Everybody has a creative mind. I just think some of us are more in tune to it. So,
yeah.
you
Well,
know, just,
and a lot of people don't recognize what they're doing as creative. For instance, I did IT for 20 years. Computer networking and desktops, that doesn't sound very creative, but it was. Because you had to sit and you'd figure out how to make something work this way, or how can I make things work smoother for people,
hmm.
and creating scripts because you had to sit there and think about how does it work and how can I make it work better. It's creative.
Yeah, because you're getting your mind going, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, let me think about what I need to do, X, Y, and Z, and so
Yeah.
that's a creative process right there.
Yeah. Anybody writing grants or it doesn't have to be fine arts, literature, singing, writing,
Poetry.
poetry, drawing pictures. All of those fine arts are nice, and they make life a lot nicer, but
Hmm.
so do the other skills. You got architects, they're very creative. Engineers, very creative. A, a lot of people outside those roles don't realize how creative they are.
Mm-mm. Running a business, you've got to get creative
I
to
was about to
get your
say that.
customers in there,
Yeah.
right?
Get the customers in, make sure the policies and procedures are in place. Even something, even something like working up schedules, right, Carol?
Oh
It's
my
like
God, yes.
it's work and it's interesting because it's challenging.
Yeah. Customer service, got to get sometimes creative with customer
Oh,
service.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Um,
Yep.
prayer march too would be another one. Just praying. Like I said, it didn't have to be an extensive prayer. However you do prayer, you can just speak, and that's a prayer that to whoever your sources are. Your
Right.
sources.
Yeah.
Um, breath work is another form of spirituality. I think we talk about breath work so much in our podcast as
We
well.
do. Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Breathwork
prana,
and presence. And
yeah,
one thing about spirituality as an art form is understanding, is getting yourself to the point where you understand that everybody's path is different. My path is different from Carol's and different from
hmm
everybody on here because we're all at different places in our lives. Even if we're twins, even if we were twins, we would still have different place in our lives,
oh yeah,
right? This is internal. And so the comparisons go out the window. You can't compare my spiritual growth or physical existence to anybody else's because they're unique.
yeah,
And once you start recognizing that the comparisons aren't there, the competition goes away, and finding that inner guidance for you will help you move forward. And that's where the meditation and prayer comes in. Prayer to me, prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening.
that's true. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Chanting is another one. There's some people that do chants out there, and so that can help you doing mantras or something like that. So you're just doing them repetitiously. That's a form of art and spirituality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Journaling. Marge can tell you about journaling is another one that writing. What do you call it, Marge? I forgot the writing that you do. The
Yeah, the automatic writing.
automatic
That's a
writing,
channeling. Yeah.
channeling. Yeah,
Yep.
reflective writing, channeling like Marge does. Just clarifies those experiences and stuff. And
We should
also
do a podcast on automatic writing. Just
writing.
kind of talk about it. I'll explain it.
Yeah, we that would definitely be a good one. But yeah, that journaling just helps with your inner growth. With sometimes you write things and then you look at it maybe 10 years down the line, you will notice that you're totally not the same person from the time that you wrote that to the time that you
Oh yeah.
to that 10-year mark that
Sometimes
I've
even
done
just
that.
6 months later, it's a totally different situation. It's like, why did I react like that to this?
Yeah. Dear diary.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know. I look at some of my journaling, Marge, back in the heyday, and I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, why did
Yeah.
I even think this way?
Right. Well,
So
that's like my traumatic blessings book that I wrote on our website. Um, I wrote it and I just look at it. It's like, this is so boring to me because it's like, it was not boring when it was happening. It was not at all. There was all sorts of things going on. But
yeah.
I look back and it's like, okay, but they're not traumas anymore. I found the blessings in them. I found the advantages to them.
Mhm.
I've integrated the process, integrated all of those events into, and that wasn't everything, believe me, but integrate those events into your being. Accept
Mhm.
it. See where it pushed you this way or pushed, and you don't get shoved off a cliff by God. You get nudged a little bit. Get back in this lane. Come on, go back
Mhm.
over this lane. It's more subtle. God is so subtle.
That's true. That's actually a good way of also seeing that, Marge. Doing going with the flow.
Yeah.
Um,
I always picture whenever we say go with the flow. Did you ever see the Disney movie Pocahontas?
yeah, I think I saw it. I had seen it so long though.
Long time, right? I guess it came out
Yeah.
in the '90s, I think.
I was
But
like,
there's
that seems a
there's
long
this one
time.
part where um she's singing just around the urban and she's in this kayak and she's going on the rapids and up and down and across these rocks and big swirls, and all of a sudden she comes to this top of a waterfall and
Hmm.
or a split in the stream, and it stops and it's like, oh, which way do I go? And that's where you go into yourself and you kind of go, What am I going to go? Where's my next step? You don't want to look down the lane too far.
Hmm.
What's my next step? Which way do I want to nudge myself? Point your kayak and move.
Yeah, actually, a lot of those movies have some good reflection there.
So many good spiritual lessons in those. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
Even the Pixar's, I'm a big fan of Pixar's.
Yeah, me too. In a lot of things in music and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sia does. I mean, I just love Sia. She does tremendous music that's very
Hmm.
meaningful and passionate. But yeah. So
Better
another one, getting off.
kind of whoop. We followed the path, folks. Sorry.
Yeah. Fasting is another one, and really want to do this. I just have not stepped back, but fasting also helps you. It's like when you have to control alt delete your computer because you've got to restart it.
Yeah.
Fasting restarts your whole body. It you don't it didn't have to be like a 40-day fasting. There's some people that will do that fasting for 40 days, but
Yeah.
even if you do a 6 to 7 day fasting, or a 3 day fasting, it helps rejuvenate your
Reset.
whole soul. Yeah, it's like
Hmm.
complete reset on your body. So
That's true.
yeah, I've also heard it, Marge, it's helped you with your spiritual focus, and of course, it teaches you discipline as well because that's fasting to me seems like it would be so hard to do, But I think once you step into that manner of doing it, then I think it'll just after I think they say day 3 or something or day one of the days, and
Yes, I
then
think it's the third day. It's really it gets
yeah,
markedly more difficult because that's when your body starts changing over to eating different stuff instead of just living off the stuff that's been running through your system normally.
yeah. I want to do that, but I think I need to do that when I'm on a vacation or something, just in case I get to and not energied enough to be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah. Service and volunteering is another way to help with your spirituality as well. It helps you with being compassionate towards others. And when you're compassionate towards others, that compassion comes back to you.
Yeah.
So
It helps you create connections, gives your life a little more meaning, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's gone. Whatever the word was, it's gone. But it would give you more meaning and fulfillment. That was the word I was looking for,
okay.
fulfillment.
Hmm.
The volunteering and you find something that you love, whether it's taking care of animals, going and reading to children in the hospital, going, whatever you volunteer to do. Some people go and clean up the trash on the side of the roads, but they find community in that. And
Yeah.
those connections make a difference in your life.
Hmm.
And you're going to learn something from everybody you meet, whether you
Yeah.
realize it or not.
That's true. Also, just finding solitude. Sometimes it's hard for us because we've got so much going on in our world, and trying to find a little bit of solitude and escape just for a hot minute. Whether you can walk in nature, walk on the beach. It helps you with your reflection again, and of course, being openness to who you are as a person.
Hmm. Prioritizing yourself.
Yes. Yes. And I personally think you should prioritize yourself. You're not being selfish,
Hmm.
because then you don't want people to think, oh, you're being selfish because all you think about you. And it's not even about that. It's you're finding your inner self and trying to make you feel better so you can feel better for others.
Yeah, you're building a relationship with yourself and your
Hmm.
higher spirit. And so when you've got your higher self and you need date night just like a husband and wife do, you need to make sure you're taking dates. If you guys are married, date night is important. Making sure this is not about kids, this is not about work, it's about you and me being together. And you can do
Hmm.
the same thing for yourself, and you should.
Yes. You absolutely should do that for yourself specifically because I know we neglect ourselves a lot.
Yeah.
We
Well, we're
give
taught
and give,
to,
give,
at
and
least in the United States. I don't know about other countries, but
give.
here we are
Hmm.
definitely taught to, we're not important.
Yeah.
And if you weren't important and you weren't needed, you wouldn't be here.
Well, this is true. You count. You count.
Absolutely.
Yoga, Tai Chi, and of course Kuan Yin is an or Kuan Yang or anyway, that one. Those are also really good ones to get involved in if you're trying to help um, level up your spirituality as well. So
Yeah.
I've been
Those are
wanting.
those are neat. Have you done any of those, Carol?
I've been wanting to do the Tai Chi. I am like adamant about doing Tai. It keeps coming up on my feed, and I think that's spirit telling me, "Girl, when are you going to start this? You need to start doing it now."
Yeah. Tai Chi, Qigong, and yoga are all have to do with the martial arts too. It's
Hmm.
all about the energy. So getting the energy to flow, and then you start recognizing some of the energy that you've got and that you're actually using,
Yes. So.
along with the movement and the breath work and the focus. So all those things work together.
No, I agree, Marge. So basically, what we're trying to talk about, so when we're talking about all this conversation, is just finding that deeper sense of meaning within yourself, your purpose. Involving you're also involving the art of nurturing. I'm sorry, your soul, and that's what it's about, promoting that personal growth within yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Finding a practice that works for you for now, and then it'll evolve later and get bigger and bigger. You'll end up like me meditating 2 hours a day.
Yes.
It's not productive. It's very productive and invigorating.
Mm-hmm. It's all about nurturing your soul. That nurturing your soul tremendously because you've got
Hmm.
to give time for you. So,
Yeah. You know, a lot of the executive, uh, I've read some stories about certain executives, like the Ford CEO. I don't remember
hmm
the names of them. I know at Einstein meditate. A lot of the executives will do 15, 20-minute meditations while they're making a decision, or that put the decision on the back burner and focus on themselves and listen and let the answer come to through them instead of creating the answer themselves.
that plus also gives you a little more clarity. Like you're not so boggled up with you need to answer in that moment.
Yeah.
So that gives you some clarity there too when you step back and reassess it and like you said, go into meditation or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Um, the good thing about the art of spirituality when you start opening yourself to all this, it brings you in healthier relationships. You start finding more like-minded people like we had talked about earlier. You start making wise choices. You are living your life in a better meaning. You'll be surprised just how a lot of the opportunities start arising for you.
Yeah.
You start getting the best parking spots. Just heads up.
Yeah. That's always nice.
Yeah, and just it's such a I cannot tell you
It's a
it's such a
rush, isn't it?
yes, it's such a high when you're on a spirituality path and you look at life in a whole different limelight. Yeah, you're there with those rose-colored glasses, but at the same token, you're living your
Grounded.
yeah, you're grounded, and to me, I feel like you're living your best life.
Yeah.
When spirituality kicks in.
Yeah. Even if there are struggles in your financial struggles or emotional struggles or health struggles going on in your life, you handle them differently
Oh yeah.
when you're working on evolving to being physically the person you are on the inside.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's
everybody's
why.
different.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going to say that
true.
at least 4 more times before we get off of here. Everybody's different.
Yeah. I don't want. Yeah, we don't want to be like, okay, you open yourself to spirituality, but I'm still in this bind. Like, what's
Yeah.
going on? Sometimes
Yeah.
the
Or I
universe.
got to do this, then this, then
Yeah.
this, then this. And if I'm not meditating like that person, or if I'm not doing this, it's just like when you're in religion. If I'm not going to church every Sunday, there's something wrong with me. Well, no, it's not your path.
Mm-mm. No. Yeah. Everything's treated differently too, Marge. So what you need to learn on your journey is not going to be the same for another person living their journey or their spiritual journey, should I say. So
Absolutely.
truly remember that. There's still obstacles and hurdles that we have to still go through because we're learning every day and growing every day if you look at it in that aspect.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, things that you used to be really mad or upset about just linger away.
They
You're
fall
not,
away.
yeah, it
It's not
goes,
that they don't happen. You're just not upset about them like you were before.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's the difference, right, Carol?
yes.
Instead of having this huge emotional reaction on either side, up or down, you're
Mm-mm.
a little more, oh, that was nice, or I didn't like that. You're not, oh no. It's not such a huge reaction.
No, it really isn't. If you think about it too, Mark, you know, you're balancing everything in your life. So you're resting, you're working, you're servicing, you're taking better care of yourself, and it all this goes into the art of spirituality because you're looking, you're more at peace within yourself. I guess I should say
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah. You're
and
developing who you are.
hmm yes, and I'm kind of glad we did have this podcast today, too, March, because a lot of people really need to hear this because some people are still in this with the blinders on and just like, oh my God, this life. And trust
Yeah,
me, we are also sometimes there too. Oh my gosh, this life.
for sure.
But yeah, release the blinders and fall into spirituality. See what starts happening for you.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I have nothing else to add, Marge. Do you have anything else you'd
I
like?
don't think so. Just trust yourselves, folks. Trust
Yes.
your inner spirit.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes. And I can assure you too, the problems will be very limited, or you'll look at those problems in a whole different limelight. So,
it's amazing.
yeah,
It's amazing.
it really is.
Yep.
So, well, my name is Carol. Thank you for coming. You can visit us at www.neuvias.com. And as always,
I'm March. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please let us know what you think of the podcast. Appreciate
yeah,
it. Thanks
yeah,
for joining us.
yes. Until next time, much love and light.
Love and light. Thank y'all. Bye, y'all.
Bye.